Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Got Christmas all done and out of the way. I hope everybody had a really good Christmas. My my camera is bouncing an awful lot. Sorry about that. I think you guys can hear me. I'm pretty sure you can. I don't know why that thing bounces so much, but yeah, oh well. Anyways, um, there's a couple things. I wanted to go on earlier than the vigil. Um, I don't know. Some of you may know that there's some things that I'm going through right now where yeah, I can't be in DC at the moment. I've got some other things that I have to put first in my life, um, and those things are going to require me to take a step back from doing so much with our J6. Not that I have a change of heart or anything. My heart is there, but um, I just can't do that at the moment. I can still join in, watch, and take part of the streams and stuff like that, but I'm not going to be able to put out that kind of stuff right now. So, that being said, I know that I made promises to be in DC over the winter, and things have come about that is not going to let me do that. And if I was to just be in DC and not take care of these things, I would regret that for the rest of my life. So I'm not going to do that. I hope everybody understands that. I hope everybody supports me in that. And I hope everybody continues to be a part of the Freedom Warrior family, because that's never going to change. And we're going to continue our mission. It's just going to have to be on other fronts. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys continue to support me and be a part of this journey with me. There has been some stuff that come out today that some people have sent me, and I want to be able to share that with you, and I want to be able to do this um, before the vigil starts and be able to stream and not interfere with that, because I want you all to support that. Continue to support the people that are there, the people that are able to be there, because it's very extremely important. However, I hope and pray that God will lead some of you to be able to continue to help me and support me in this mission also that is not going to be in DC. I'm sure there will be some stuff that I'll put out, as it comes out, but it's not going to be heavily with J6 related stuff so long. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys understand. I hope you guys know where I'm coming from and just understand it's it's see it's not easy, right? But sometimes things in your life have to come first before other things. So I hope you all understand that. All right. So, with that being said, we've been talking about this story for quite some time. Let's check this out. This is big. Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger refuses to testify under oath about Secretary of State's Dominion voting machines. You remember the story we brought out the other day? I think it was on the 21st. After the 19th and 20th meeting in Georgia. That was really happening. As the Gateway Pundit reported earlier this year, the Federal District of Court for the Northern District of Georgia unsealed a 96-page Halderman report in June 2023. Security analysis of Georgia image cast X ballot masking device. I don't know why my phone keeps vibrating. University of Michigan professor of computer science and engineering Jay Halderman and security researcher and assistant professor at Auburn University Drew Stingle collaborated on a report where they discovered many exploitable vulnerabilities in the Dominion voting system's image cast system. Give me 1 second. I'm going to figure out why my phone just keeps going off and going off and going off. Let me turn off it is off. That's weird. Maybe it's the other phone. And one more time. No more vibrations. All right, there we go. If anybody's trying to get a hold of me, I do apologize. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. And so back to this. Far left Georgia Judge Amy Totenberg sealed and covered up the results of the investigation on Dominion voting machines in Georgia and sat on the report for 2 years until its release last summer. The report confirms that votes can be altered in the Dominion voting machines. In fact, the report reveals that the Dominion software is vulnerable and can be hacked. You guys know we were talking about this for quite some time. And we're going to go right back to this. But while I'm thinking about it, if anybody sees or if Metalis Joy is in the chat, please let her know we need to get an email to Shirlene for the auction. Lisa McNeely and Faith and Country. I will try to message over there to Mags and see if we can't get that address. But if you three are in the chat, please send an email to SC Second Chance 63 at gmail.com. Sorry to interrupt what I was doing, but please, Metalis Joy, Faith and Country, and Lisa McNeely, please send an email to SC Second Chance 63 at gmail.com so we can get those orders shipped out, get everything squared away from that auction, and get that behind us. I would greatly appreciate that. All right. And so back over to the report. Please, guys, thank you for helping us get that handled and taken care of as quickly as possible. Um, Here is the actual report, it looks like. The documents, the indexes, everything that was there, but we're going to go ahead and read the story. Professor Halderman wrote about his findings in a blog post after the report's release. Back in September 2020, the court granted the curling plaintiffs access to one of Georgia's touchscreen ballot marking devices so that they could assess its security. Drew and I extensively tested the machine, and we discovered vulnerabilities in nearly every part of the system that is exposed to potential attackers. The most critical problem we found is an arbitrary code execution vulnerability that can be exploited to spread malware from a county's central election management system to every BMD in the jurisdiction. This makes it possible to attack the BMDs at scale over a wide area without needing physical access to any of them. So they're just using the one. Yeah, they don't even need physical access to any of them. Isn't that something? And this is stuff that we knew back a while ago, right, guys? This is what everybody has been saying. This is what we've been saying for quite some time. The machines are vulnerable. Well, now we know that is absolutely true. The reports are out. The court hearings are being done, and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger is refusing to testify in court. Isn't that something? The known breaches in Georgia would be sufficient to uncover and exploit every vulnerability we found and likely others we missed. Yet MITRE's risk assessment assumes that Georgia perfectly protects the equipment from illicit access across all of its 159 counties. Astonishing. Raffensperger, who has been aware of our findings for 2 years, just announced that the state will not get around to installing Dominion security patches until after the 2024 presidential election. Isn't that something? So they're not planning on fixing it until after the 2024 election, and we know that now. A year before the election, almost a year. And they're not even planning on fixing the security patches. Therefore, the statewide move to 5.17 will occur following the 2024 election cycle. Isn't that something? So they know there's problems, but they don't even want to fix it until after the election cycle. All right. So there's that story for you. And we know why. You're absolutely right. We do know why. How are we doing? Let's see who all we got in here. Let's see. I'm going to run up here to the top because I know Wildwood was in here earlier. Wyoming Girl, Annette Park, Florida Gator Girl, Tammy Green, Debbie Measy, Colorado, Naomi, Jane Febo, Sharon Kern, Sunkissed, Jane, Nova Paget. Let's see who else we got. Mama, love you. Sharon Kern, Florida Gator. I think I've said all those names. Let's see. Debbie Robinson. We've got a Sexy Grammy in here. Welcome, Sexy Grammy. Yes, I am doing very well. Thank you so much. The first time I've seen you in here, but welcome to the Freedom Warrior family. Thank you so much, unless you've changed your name. Denari Sina, I don't know if I said that right, but welcome. Thank you for being here. I know you've been in here several times before. I just don't think I ever read that last name. Hossie B, Priscilla Victor, Lee Bart, Shirlene. Welcome, everybody. Tammy Green, Faith and Country sent me an email asking if I replied yes twice. So we'll get a hold of all that, get all that auction stuff cleared up as soon as possible. Hi, Jared Allen, Deshaun Grandma. Welcome, everybody. We could look over here and see who all we got over on the Rumble chat. Let's see. TV Green, Nana Bear, W Daisy Girl. Thank you all for being over there. Really appreciate you all. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, like, share it out, get this thing out to as many people as possible. Oh, Sherry Beeman, welcome. I watch, but don't comment much. Well, we're glad you're here, and thank you for talking with us and joining in on the chat. We always love to see everybody join in on the chat and hang out. And usually it's a pretty good chat. We usually have a pretty good chat. It's the mods have always done a great job at controlling the nonsense and keeping everybody on track. You know, every once in a while we get a nonsense comment in there, but you know, that just happens. So, hey, Wild One. This is a little off from what you're talking about, but a few weeks ago I asked for prayer, and I want to thank you. It was more a mental issue, and I am doing much better. Well, that's amazing, Wild One. We are absolutely thankful for that. We are really, you know, God's been answering a lot of prayers, and through our chats and the people that have asked for prayer, we've had a lot of great reports after prayers and stuff that have happened. Lots of people have come back and said thank you. And, you know, God's working, guys. We know he is. And we just have to continue to keep pursuing justice and doing what we're doing. Oh, my camera keeps vibrating. I don't know if you guys see it. Doesn't it? I'm going to have to see if I can stabilize that somehow. I guess it'll be all right for now. Maybe if I take my elbows off the table, maybe that'll help. I don't know. But so Mr. Sable sent me some stuff. I haven't actually looked at it yet, but it is interesting. So we're going to take a look at it. Let's take a look and see what Jeff Sable sent me this morning. And hello, KA. Michiganders for Trump. So let's see. First part of it. Oh, hello, kitty cat. I know. You want to be loved on. You're going to have to wait just a little bit, buddy. A little bit. Let's start with the, I don't know if I should start with the Tucker Carlson stuff or not, guys. This is a little odd, but we're going to report on it because it's something he sent over that Tucker Carlson put out.
It's my personal belief, based on a fair amount of evidence, that they're not aliens. They've always been here. And I do think it's spiritual. That's my view. So, and again, it's not provable, but based on the evidence, I think.
I'm with you.
Absolutely. But if the U.S. government has in fact had direct contact with these beings, whatever they are, I've already told you what I think they are, and has entered into some sort of agreement with them, which is the claim of informed people, I would say, whether they're right or wrong, I can't say conclusively. But if that is true, I mean, it's a very, very, very heavy thing.
Yeah. A lot of people say interdimensional beings.
Right, I want to ask, are angels and demons, or how would you describe these beings?
You know, these are, again, I'm getting into the realm of conjecture, so I just want to say that flat out.
Entity?
But one thing I know for a dead certain fact, having seen it, is that there is good and evil, that we are being acted upon at all times. And I think every person can feel that in himself. I mean, there are moments when you are moved to do things that are much better than you actually are, and that are also more evil and destructive than you actually are. You are subject to forces from outside yourself. That is absolutely true. Now, we can argue about what they are, but every person in the room, if he's reflective, will tell you, yes, I know what you're talking about. And so there are forces that are not human, that do exist in a spiritual realm of some kind, that we cannot see, and that when you think about it, sort of make you think we live in an ant farm.
Yeah.
Being right? And that's that is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's many.
All right. So what is Tucker Carlson talking about? What is he talking about? Let's stop sharing. And that wasn't the only thing he shared with me, but let's see what else it was. I'm just going to read the message that he sent me first real quick, and then we can tie it all together here. And just so you guys know, another way I know God is answering prayers all around is I still have not had a cigarette since Christmas Eve at 4:30 in the morning. I have been using my little cheating vape. I have my cheating vape, but I can tell you what, I don't. The smell is much better. I don't smell like cigarettes, and the desire is not. Every once in a while I get the urge, but I just know that there's other things, more important things that need to be. I got a little guy that is needing a smoke-free home, right? And that's important to me. So those cigarettes mean nothing compared to him. Breaking: Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger declines to testify under oath regarding the security of the state Dominion's voting system, which that's what we already went over, was the Gateway Pundit article. And then part 2, unconfirmed. He said unconfirmed. Tucker Carlson talks about the U.S. government coming to some kind of an agreement with non-humans. They've always been here. Tucker: it's my personal belief, based on fair amount of evidence, that they're not aliens. They've always been here, and I do think it's spiritual. That's my view. And then the public can't deal with it. It's too dark, which is the other video. There's another video that he has got linked here that I have not seen, and I think it is a Tucker Carlson video, so maybe it's in just another part of that. So let's just see what it is real quick.
The second thing that bothers me is the UFO story. And the more you dig into that and talk to people with actual knowledge of it, again, that's another story where there are some, fanciful ideas floating around that are just, there's no evidence that they're true. But if you talk to people who, have actual knowledge of it that they gathered themselves, there are parts of that story that I do not understand at all that are really, really, really dark. It's so dark that I, haven't told my wife about it. I mean, I haven't verified any of this, but this is not just stuff that I read on the internet. I know you all are very, very grounded in that story, so I think I know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But there's some stuff there that's just like, man, I'm not even sure what that means. There's a spiritual component there that I don't fully understand. So yes, that story bothers me. And I think, last thing I'll say, that one of the reasons that we've had all these disclosures and all these, 10 whistleblowers at this point, and it hasn't really become front page news. Part of it's suppression. Parts of the government don't want you to know about it, but part of it is the public can't deal with it. It's too far out. The implications are too profound. And I understand that, because I've heard things where I'm just like, oh man, I don't even really want to know that, honestly.
Deeply disturbing stuff. Forget like saucers and technology. It's deeply disturbing stuff that I haven't even told Natalie. Yep. I agree with you. It's so disturbing. Exactly. I can't even tell my kids. My kids ask me different stories about it, and I won't say it because it's so dark. It's so dark.
I totally agree.
Miles is watching. So.
Okay, Miles, if you're watching the show, Daddy's not going to tell you about that part of the UFO stuff and what's going on with the government.
Well, can I say one thing? They've known clearly. I mean, this is, I think, established, and I feel comfortable saying this as fact. The U.S. government, these are real, whatever they are. They're not human. And the government has known that for a long time, possibly going back to the 1930s at least. And, of course, there's tons of evidence in the written record, in the physical record, in paintings, and in literature, that people have been seeing and interacting with these things for a long time. So we know that. But the justification one often hears is, well, the government, various presidents who have been read in, not all have been, haven't wanted to disclose this because it would scare people. And I've always thought that's bullshit. You're hiding a crime, which they are, by the way, in my opinion. But I do think there's a sense in which that's not totally crazy. Like, there is some stuff, if it's true, and I'm kind of thinking it may be true, that's so radical that well, as we both said, we don't want to tell the people we love most about it, because why would you disturb someone like that? So I kind of get that. I hate to admit it. I'm not arguing for hiding things. I believe in the truth and I believe in disclosure, but I understand the impulse. Like, holy smokes, this is heavy. You know what I mean?
And the government's involvement in it makes it even heavier, because then you realize the complicity.
Exactly.
Of it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about the same thing. I can tell. Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Should I?
That's interesting.
No. This is what we used to talk about in commercial breaks all the time. This is the kind of stuff. Anyway.
So at the time, I never would have believed any of that. But now I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that's some interesting stuff, guys. I don't know exactly what they're talking about. Apparently, they've got some more information than I do. If anybody else has any more information on that, I'd sure love to know more about all that. It's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting. It's not new. I know it's not real new, no, but it's the fact that they're just openly talking about it more freely, I think is the interesting part of it, I guess. At least to me. But watch Project Blue Book, Debbie Robinson says. Project Blue Book. I'll have to look into that sometime. So we're only going to be on for about another 20 minutes. Let me see what else we can get into. Anybody else think any other news that I haven't? Wait, I think there was something on a messenger chat that somebody sent me. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Oh, I don't see it anymore. Okay, I got you. For immediate. Okay, here let me see if I can share this to you real quick. This is I think this is the same stuff about the coffee breaches simply did not happen. Let me see what this is. This is a lot of reading, though. I don't think I'm going to read all that. It's about Atlanta. We pretty much went over all that. December 27, 2023. Maryland Marks Coalition for Good Governance. Georgia State Raffensperger fights federal court order to testify about voting system. He appealed the federal court's ruling, ordering him to testify. Upcoming trial, long-running Curling versus Raffensperger lawsuit. Yeah, I mean, we can go sit there and go over all that. But, you know, they're getting caught and they're trying to figure out how to not... how do you say that? They're trying to figure out how to not bring the truth out when they know that they did wrong back when it was, when it was that time. What was his name? Did you guys see that capital punishment, the first part of capital punishment? I think, I know it came out a few months ago or whatever, but I just realized that it was out last night and I hadn't seen it. But capital punishment on Nick, was it Nick Searcy? Yeah, Nick Searcy, his Rumble. If you go to his, that's not it. Nick Searcy. There it is. Yeah, so I'll share this with you so you can see what I'm talking about real quick. Nick Searcy. So if you go over to his Rumble channel, I know you guys all know he was down at the corner. He's him and Chris Burgard. That's what they make movies and films and stuff. They've been doing that for quite some time. So there's the trailer. We can watch the trailer for the capital punishment too, if you guys would.
Antifa! Antifa! Let me through. I got a knife.
We have not to date seen any evidence of anarchist violent extremists or people subscribing to Antifa in connection with the 6th.
Christopher Wray has committed what's known as a Section 1001 violation. That is lying to Congress.
So why do they lie? It's because if you make the lie big enough and you tell the lie often enough, it becomes the truth.
It's not protest. It's insurrection.
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 2 small squads of military trained guys could have wiped out the entire House and Senate that day had there been a real insurrection.
This is a war on truth.
I think that law enforcement has been weaponized.
Why did the FBI show up on my ranch?
Because you're a threat to the narrative. You have to protect the narrative at all costs. If you could see the tape from January 6th, you would see that it wasn't an insurrection.
The whole thing falls apart.
The whole thing falls apart.
This guy is not just undercover, okay? He is committing violence.
Everybody that was on the ground on J6, police officers and demonstrators alike, were all set up.
They have this mystery story that we're some kind of domestic terrorist group.
Why are you going to prison for 8 months?
For my documentation of January 6th.
They're being punished
as criminals.
When the United States government comes at you with everything they have, it can be very intimidating.
They're trying to instill fear.
This is intimidation, just like the Gestapo.
Story that we're some kind of domestic.
Hold on, I want to show you something that I just seen. You guys can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? There. Now you can hear me. All right, so you see this guy right here? Let me go back over there. Has this guy ever been in trouble? Like, who are these people that are actually tearing this down? And why was that gone when so many other people, that was already gone when so many other people came through here? You know, that's really extremely important. I'm gonna go and finish.
All set up.
They have this mystery story that we're some kind of domestic terrorist group.
Why are you going to prison for 8 months?
For my documentation of January 6th. They're being punished as criminals.
When the United States government comes at you with everything they have, it can be very intimidating.
They're trying to instill fear.
This is intimidation, just like the Gestapo.
This was not a no-knock warrant.
You were this close to being a shooting match for the FBI.
I could have killed somebody because they didn't identify themselves.
The Capitol Police were coming after me. They conducted a criminal investigation on me because of my position on January 6th.
I was paid to pretend to protest.
For 3 years, the federal government has waged a war on truth. On January 6th, we fight back.
So this is coming out on January 6, 2024. That is capital punishment 2. But on his Rumble here, you can see he's got the first part, which I have not even seen either. But from the little bit that I did see of it, it looked like it was pretty good. So sometime, yeah, I started watching it and I didn't get too far into it, but yeah, make sure that you guys go over and check that out. We're not going to watch it together, but go over and check that. If you're not on Rumble, you should get on Rumble because that's where a lot of the stuff is that most people don't get to see. But make sure you follow me over there on Rumble also. And also, if you missed the video that we did the other night, which I guess was an old video also. I guess I'm just falling behind on videos. There's so many out there now. Make sure you guys keep up with them. Can you guys even hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, that's on Nick Searcy. Nick Searcy's Rumble. Here, I'll give you the link real quick. Here, let me copy. Here, I will post this link for you. How's that? Oh, it didn't go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so there you go. That's the link for that. You are so welcome, haha. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. Here, we can watch this real quick. Let me share this with you. Laura Logan.
How many federal agents do you think were present on January 6th?
Your reporting suggests what would be a fair estimate?
Well, I think that's unknowable. The truth is, right now, that's unknowable for us because that information is being withheld. So we know that, for example, the FBI was forced to acknowledge during the Proud Boys trial that some 30 or 40 agents were undercover on the ground. We know from one of the FBI whistleblowers that there were a lot of FBI who were on the ground who were supporting Donald Trump, and they've been encouraged to lie about what they were there, why they were there. We know from the FBI Inspector General's report that they lost control of how many agents were on the ground because there were so many. But what we also know is that it wasn't just the FBI that had undercover agents. There were people there from the Department of Homeland Security. There were people there from the Joint Terrorism Task Force. There were agents there from the Metropolitan Police Department. There were agents there from the MPD Special Narcotics Unit. What we don't know, Charlie, is what these undercover agents were doing, because they want to have it both ways, right? They want to say there was no reason for us to secure the Capitol with National Guard troops, but there was enough intelligence suggesting that there was this great existential threat to the United States posed by Trump supporters, so much so that we had to have, untold numbers of undercover agents on the ground. And that's before we even start talking about their confidential human sources or informants, right? Because, there are indications that the number of informants dwarf the number of undercover agents. We do know from videos that we actually included one of those in one of our first episodes. We have an officer telling, a Metropolitan Police Department officer telling a Capitol Police officer, we go undercover as Antifa in the crowd, right? So, there's more than enough evidence that they had people on the ground. And we know from looking at some of the cases, the role that these undercovers and informants played in guiding law enforcement to people who were on the ground. But what we really have not addressed, and this is a critical point, judges have refused to allow a defense of entrapment or the lesser charge, right? Because there's a lesser form of entrapment. So even though we know that there was, for example, Metropolitan Police Department officers encouraging people to climb the scaffolding, encouraging people to go forward, encouraging people to go into the Capitol, the judges have never, ever allowed any defense attorneys to even broach the issue of entrapment or the lesser charge in the courts, which is really quite extraordinary when you look at the events of January 6th. And that is definitely one of the things that we're talking about in this series.
Yeah, so there's the entrapment thing again. We all seen.
How many federal agents do you think?
We all seen that. We all know. In my opinion. But you guys can make your own opinion on all that. I think we all know what most of our opinions are. Somebody's posted the Q thing. Emergency broadcast. I don't know if you guys have been following the Q official, whatever it is. I don't know. But it just keeps coming up with with new timers and stuff. Let me share with you. Let's see what's on. Beijing. Something big is coming in Beijing. 4 days, 5 hours, 42 minutes, 25 seconds, emergency broadcast. And they've got this little Twitter link here where you can go and look at it. It's really just, I can't make no heads or tails of it. It's just really kind of wild, to be honest with you. But to be honest with you, there is something else that came out today. Let me see if I can find that for you real quick. Here we go on the New York Post. Let me share this over with you. So new photos shows Bill Gates posing with Epstein accuser years after his 2008 conviction report. So the Epstein stuff is getting leaked out. His people that were connected with all that. I doubt if it shows any of the real pictures, but this is the guy that everybody looks up to. This is the guy that gets to tell everybody. He's not even a doctor, but he has stake in doing the jab stuff and all. So yeah, here he is with Epstein, right, standing there right next to Epstein. Who else was in that picture? Do we know anybody else in that picture? I don't know right off who those other people are, but so the photos of his clients and everybody else, that stuff seems to be coming out. And I guess at the first of the year, a lot of those pictures are going to be coming out. So there you can see in the small picture there where he's with one of Epstein's. Let's see who this is. Here's Prince Andrew with a then 17-year-old Virginia Roberts, Giuffre, and Ghislaine Maxwell. Isn't that something? There's Prince Andrew, guys, in a photo with a 17-year-old Virginia Roberts and Ghislaine Maxwell, who brought all these girls over to join the Epstein Island and be a part of all that nonsense. Oh, Epstein and Mr. President Bill Clinton. Isn't that something? So I guess it is interesting how all this stuff is coming out and the Q thing is counting down and blah, blah, blah. That's what a lot of that Q stuff was about. I didn't really get into all that. It didn't really, I think that's interesting how that guy right there is like holding on to her like, you can't go nowhere. Like, was he afraid she's gonna like run or something? I mean, he's got a pretty good tight squeeze on her arm there, it looks like to me. Yeah, so there is some interesting things coming out. The election stuff coming out. 1980s, Donald Trump walked in with his then wife Ivana into the restaurant I worked in New York City. The check was $1,300, but obviously we told him it's free. When I bust the table after, I found the neatly folded note. I don't know what that's about. Let's take a look at it. No, I'm not going to read that. It doesn't look important. Yeah, so there is some interesting stuff coming out. Lots of wild, interesting stuff. But anyways, hello, Matt Fury. Epstein had a lot on so many people. Yeah, so the story is, and I can't confirm any of this, but the story is that he invited all these people there, put them there with young girls, got pictures of them, and that's how he apparently blackmailed a lot of our politicians and the different people that are running our government, and that's how they have been able to control a lot of the votes and the things that are being done, the things that are being said. They say a big clue to when Stein, his stuff on his artwork, he had a lot of art like the Clinton in the dress and the other. Oh my gosh, my big cat just jumped up on the table. He wants to be petted. He wants to be loved. We just got a few more minutes left here, guys, and I'm going to jump off of here. I've got an important phone call I need to take at 6:30. Tracy says, I'm curious to see if the list I have a picture of from Facebook is the same one coming out. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot of stuff coming out over the next year. And I don't think it's going to be all at one time or nothing like that. I think that it just seems to be like a slow leak of things that, it seems like some of us have already known for quite some time. But with that being said, guys, you guys know we are 100% viewer funded in order for us to continue doing what we're doing. And I do still plan on trying to take some trips. Maybe I can make a trip to some Trump hearings or, whatever it is that may be. If you guys know of anything that's, not terribly far for like a day or something, maybe I can make a trip to go do. I do want to do some flag waves nearby. I've been talking to some people, maybe doing some flag waves and streaming some stuff like that. So if you can, guys, please help me with this part of this journey that I'm getting ready to go through. I would greatly appreciate it. If nothing else, please, if nothing else, remember to pray for me. I am definitely needing your prayers more than anything. And that is extremely important, much appreciated. And I really love each and every single one of you. This is, I don't believe this is over. I believe it's far from over. And I can't wait to be able to, from Pittsburgh to I can't wait to be able to continue this mission and get past these next steps that I've got a hurdle to get over. Mags from Pittsburgh, I'd say, I don't know exactly where Pittsburgh is in Pennsylvania, but from the Ohio line there on 70, if that helps you, I am about 2.5 hours from the Pennsylvania line, or actually it's West Virginia, Wheeling. Is that Wheeling, West Virginia? Wheeling, West Virginia, right there is like 2.5 hours from me. But Mags, I got a question for you. I need some help whenever you get time. I got, I don't know if you can see this. I got one of these cool things, Mags, and I need to figure out how to hook it up. If you don't mind, man. Sometime if you wouldn't mind making a call to me, or later after this important call coming in here in a few minutes. If you could help me with that, Mags, it doesn't seem to make sense to me. I know you had trouble when you got yours. So if you could help me out with that, man, I would greatly appreciate it. I'd love to have, let's see, all these different sounds like you got, cheering and yelling and all kinds of weird things. But yeah, so please help me out with that, Mags. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I got to call at 6:30, but after that we can take a look at that. What the heck is that? A time machine? No, it's a streaming box that you can use to do different things with. So I am putting a lot of work into trying to make this stream. My studio here is the best quality that I can. I'm trying to do a lot of work, just so you guys know. I'm still, and I have my vinyl and all that stuff set up. So if you guys, I can make your graphics for your vehicles in a minute's notice, get them shipped out to you. I have it all set up right here in my office. So please, if you need any graphics, signs, banners, anything, business vehicles, lettered, anything like that at all, please let me know and we will get that done for you. I do greatly appreciate every single one of you. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. I love you all. I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. Freedom Warriors out.